I'm WG and this video will contain two things. Number one, a full breakdown of the developers note, which is even more changes and rewards and updates on top of the already 1.1 livestream. And then secondly, we will be taking a look and analyzing Yuki's kit. The only thing we don't yet know about Yuki is two epiphanies and the ego manifestations. Those will be released either maybe later today, maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. We don't know yet, but you get my early opinion on Yuki's kit. So without further ado, let's go into it. Zero out, all despair. Okay, chaoszeronightmare team. The support and feedback for season 1. I can't wait. So agent growth rewards. So what they're talking about right here is that they're basically going to retroactively increase the rewards that are obtained for reaching a character level, whereas the character level will still, or you could say player level, will still stay at 60. What that means for 99% of you is free rewards, right? I mean, I guess it means free rewards for everyone, right? Unless you haven't yet made it to that level. But yeah. So then on top of that also we get the daily rewards increase. So instead of, I think it was 60 crystals, we are now going to get even more, which is fantastic. Achievement lock rewards, more promotion and potential materials will be provided. So even more retroactive in-game mail. The policy system will be improved. So it's not going to be just numbers, but you can actually go for crystals, promotion materials, potential materials, and research notes. So there's actually going to be a more, you could say, dedicated focus to what you want to farm. And then also there's going to be a chaos shop. And then as well, they're going to increase the level of the Chaos Matrix to 100. Now, if the Chaos Matrix doesn't tell you anything, that is this beauty right here, that if you head into your game, into your Chaos, into the Zero system, that is what they refer to with this reward track. So you see how this reward track is maxed out at 60. This is now going to go all the way to level 100. So now that we have that out of the way, it's time we go back into the node and check what the devs have further in hand for us. So here we go, we have the level 100. So the improvements to the save data. Although the save data system is one of the game's core features, the lack of in-game guidance has caused confusion and make progression difficult, I guess. So we have made storable save data easier to identify and added additional help information to make the system more intuitive and easier to understand. We get a full explanation in the upcoming patch notes. Okay, so a full save data system breakdown. They'll also continue to improve the save data system by enhancing the tutorial and introducing various methods to help understand it more easily, which is very important. So then we've played, yep. So what you need to know from this is they're reducing the price of creating maps by 20%. So if your map costs you 45,000, it's now going to go down by 9,000 to just 36,000. If it costs you 95,000, it's going to go down by 18,000. And we'll also receive units as daily mail rewards for 2 weeks following the update. Even more currency. So we're getting even more currency. In addition, we're preparing to introduce a feature that grants 1 free planet merge per day. So you can basically get that free merge, and so long as you don't lose the planet, you don't have to do more merging. Okay, to address the difficulty in identifying each fragment's corresponding part, we plan to display part numbers displayed directly on the icons. So now instead of having to learn the names, like how the right side is like positive and the left side is negative and stuff like that, you are simply going to get slot 1, slot 2, slot 3, slot 4, slot 5, and slot 6, with it obviously going the way around, meaning the most important pieces are 4, 5, and 6. Alright. And what can we see here? So it's also obviously going to get shown right here. See if we can actually, yeah, I don't think we need to zoom in that much though. Who knows? Maybe we can zoom in a little bit. Ta-da! Alright, affinity system. We've received feedback from many that the affinity has been challenging. The affinity requirements for the growth guide will be reduced, so you don't need to go to 20 anymore. And the opportunity of obtaining gifts during excursions will be doubled, so you'll get more shakes just from the excursions. And you'll also be able to buy gift products to the Traveler's Memory Hall shop, which should be the summon currency if I'm not entirely wrong. I mean, at this point we might as well just get confirmation. So we head into the shop, we check out the, let's see, Zeronium Memory Traveler shop. Yep, so you can use your golden summon currency to technically now buy these items as well. Alright. To help you require petite stickers for combatants more quickly and customize your save data. Okay, so basically you get the icon or the background for your home screen. You get that on level 10, and now the stickers are level 7 instead of level 20. We're a messenger system where you're able to enjoy special stories with commemorative in-game events. Okay, so this feature right here, so we basically get some type of rewards, and you can kind of like talk to your characters. She might even, oh no, that's Ray, right? It has to be Ray. If it isn't Ray, it's a new combatant. This content, so the Affinity update is scheduled for December. Please note that some, Korean. Oh, and also this one right here. They want to do the quick formation system, which might help with team building, and a turn indicator. So now instead of having to go to the left and into the turn lock, you can see your turn that you're on. And also then, along with various in-game events, in addition, we're developing a new permanent game mode called the Purification Protocol, which will be available to all players regardless of if you're using the normal data, which you've obtained in the preseason or in the zero system, or the season save data, which you get from the seasonal planet. Further details will be revealed through the Galactic News Network once we're ready to share more information. We will continue to address ongoing issues and bugs swiftly to ensure safe service stability. Furthermore, we're working to refine the translation quality and in-game localization so that Protoss from all regions can enjoy a more natural and immersive gameplay experience. Lastly, news about the Galactic Season 1 has already been live. If you haven't seen it yet, it's on the official channel. I also have my own breakdown on the channel if you want that. And yeah, localization, huh? Oh my. But yeah, what we are getting is then a further 300 crystals that should already be in your mail right now. So this is the dev note. Alright, now let's discuss Yuki's kit. First off, we have the longsword slash at just 100% and then the rapid cut at 220% as well as a 100% shield. Keep in mind, there is going to be a potential upgrade to the basic cards as with every other character. I would assume it's going to be something along the lines of Inspiration. Inspiration is her whole kit, and Inspiration is that upon drawing this card with an ability, or better said, just upon drawing this card, this effect pretty much triggers, right? So you can kind of like force trigger this. We get into that more in detail, but you can pretty much assume there's going to be some type of upgrade to these basic cards as well. They're not going to stay this way, or at least she's going to get like some type of upgrade to anything what you see here. So for the first skill, we have the draw one of this unit's attack card. So it's a dedicated draw similar to Rin, and you deal 20% to that card for one turn, meaning like, for example, if you pull the Flash Slash, the Flash Slash is actually going to do 200% damage instead of just 180. The first one is a 2-cost card at 180%. Now you might be thinking, ooh, is that Khalib synergy? Not quite, and that is because here you have the first mention of the Inspiration effect, which said that it's going to reduce the cost of this card by 1, meaning the Flash Slash is going to turn into a 1-cost card should you be drawing it with an ability. Then we have the Trickery Strike, which has Retain, meaning the moment you pull it, it stays in your hand. You can play it whenever you want unless a monster makes you discard the card, and you deal 150% damage, as well as also have the ability to trigger the Inspiration effect of one random card in hand. So if, for example, you only have Flash Slash in hand, it is guaranteed to reduce the cost of it by 1, meaning that to a degree you could say the Trickery Strike is a 0-cost card because you play it for 1 while reducing the cost of another card by 1, making this card, for example, a 0-cost. Then we have the Freezing Blade, a unique upgrade card, meaning it is unable to be cloned. When you use a own card with an activated Inspiration effect, meaning that it has been drawn by an ability, you then also deal a 60% AoE hit to all enemies. So you can already kind of see this like AoE pattern emerging. Then we have the Iceberg Cleave, the unique card, the card that gets upgraded not only on the E1 but also doesn't have any epiphanies. You get 180% damage to all enemies. The Inspiration gives you 1 extra hit but reduces damage by 20%. Though keep in mind, if you have the Prepare to Subdue and you draw the Iceberg Cleave, this effect is still like getting cancelled out, right? It doesn't go to it goes down to 160, but this one boosted by 20, so it goes back up to 180, which makes it a 360% AoE damage. So we have AoE damage, and we have an ult that does AoE damage, and it moves all attack cards in hand to the top of the draw pile plus 50% damage per card moved. So like for example, if you had the iceberg cleave and the flash slash on hand, you then use the skyscraper cleave to deal 50% times 2, so 100% extra damage, making it 400%, and then you attack with that 400%, and then you could, for example, use the prepare to subdue to draw either of these cards back out because they are already as well on the top of the draw pile. So that is that. And then now that we've seen this, let's actually move into the 2 epiphanies we know about. As I said in the beginning of the video, we don't yet have the full the full breakdown, but here we have the flash slash epiphanies. So flash slash epiphanies, I'm gonna try and hide my head a little here. So what we have going left to right is a 270% damage to all enemies, which means it's nothing changing besides just a higher damage multiplier. Then here it stays at the same multiplier, but you can reduce it to 0 cost if you draw it with an ability. The middle one turns it from a 1-hitter into a 2-hitter, reminiscent of the ice cleaver that we already have on her kit. Then on the middle one you have the retain effect, 320% damage and 60% damage for each owned card drawn for 1 turn, max 3. Okay, so I think what that refers to, this should be poor translation, is it does 320% damage plus 60% per Yuki card drawn this turn. Meaning this one can go from 360% all the way up to 500%, but this is not AoE. And then lastly, we increase the cost to 3. Give it a 300% AoE damage, but this one is different. When used, cost -1, meaning first cast is 3, second cast is 2, third cast is 1 cost, and the fourth cast is free. So that is the flash slash. Alright, so then we have the flash slash. Let's see if we have any more. Oh yeah, the prepare to subdue epiphanies. There we go. So, first off, left to right again, you have a retain effect, or just a retain modifier, because it doesn't have a retain effect. You draw 1 attack card and for 1 turn 40% damage amount to that card, and you can use this whenever you want. The other one, so the only thing that changes is retain plus 20%. Draw 1 attack card for 1 turn, 20% damage amount to own attack cards, meaning that if you have 5 Yuki attack cards in hand, this should be a plus 100% damage bonus. So based on the amount of attack cards you have in hand. If not, this could also refer to amount in deck, meaning that should you duplicate Yuki's attack cards, you're going to get yourself more damage. Then in the middle right here we have the you draw 2 cards, but for 1 turn negative 20% damage to that card. But keep in mind, it is a 2-card draw. 2-card draw 0 cost is always very high value, and you will be triggering the inspiration effect on both cards drawn. Then the fourth one, draw 1 own attack card for 1 turn plus 20% damage to that card, and should you draw the prepare to subdue with a card effect, you're going to draw an additional attack card. Meaning that this thing kind of combines the middle one with the damage bonus instead of the damage negative. So it's kind of like the best of all worlds, but you have to actively get this card out of your deck with a different card. Otherwise, the inspiration effect is not going to trigger. And then the prepare to subdue, draw 1 own attack card at the start of the next turn, draw 1 own attack card. So it's splitting it into 1 turn into the next turn. So that is that. Alright, then now let's just quickly have the partner there, just so we have like it all in one. Should be right here. Yep. So, this is the base. Attack cards of the assigned combatant drawn by their ability have the damage increased by 50. So for example, if you get the Gracious Slash, it's going to go from 180 to 230 into a 2-hitter, meaning 460% AoE. And then the damage amount of cards with the assigned combatant's inspiration increases by 20%, meaning that if a card has the inspiration tag, or potentially if the card has its inspiration triggered, you get a further 20% damage bonus, making it a ridiculous 70% increased damage should the partner effect fully trigger. Though, keep in mind, very, very important, you see this right here, Gleaming Deduction, level 5. This is a fully maxed out, fully copied partner, so you can expect these values to be lower. If I had to make a guess, I would say it's probably going to be 30-10. It is probably going to be 30% increase if drawn, 10% for inspiration, making it a 40 versus a 70% based on like the current scaling and the like. I could be a little off, but I think 30-10 seems quite fine. So now that we have that out of the way, now that we know around 80% of her kit, the only thing that's left to see is how important, how good are ego manifestations, and also how good are these epiphanies for the other cards. Keep in mind there will be a bunch of shenanigans, a bunch of upgrades, but there's already one conclusion we can make, and that is, if you do not own a Khalib, or if you're not a fan of Khalib, she is at least going to be your very best AoE damage option. So if you don't own Khalib, or if you don't like Khalib, if you want to play or find any success on the bug planet and potentially moving into next season, which would stand to reason to give us AoE challenges, having Yuki in your arsenal can be a absolute blessing. So then to top it all off, you also have her be somewhat unique. We don't yet have an inspiration character, we only had it on neutral cards. You also have her being AoE, whereas for example if you want to compare her to Rin is mainly single target focused. So the potential is endless, the kit is great, and I'm looking forward to playing around with her.